And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Sports Analysts podcast. My name is Jared. That is Jessa. Jessa, how we doing? How we surviving after another day or another weekend of college football?
Another weekend of college football. It was a good weekend. I'm excited to talk about it. No, we feel good.
Fantastic
Also,
weekend.
yeah, BYU didn't play, so stress levels were just fine. I could sit back and enjoy. So, yeah,
Yup.
let's talk about it.
It was very nice. I've been hearing people around the office and around the spaces of the interwebs saying that it was a boring weekend of college football. And I just have one thing to say to these people. I can't help you. I'm sorry. I don't know what more you want out of a college football weekend. You either didn't watch or maybe college football isn't for you, and that's fine. Like, I don't want to yum your yuck, I guess. I don't know. Um, this was such a glorious weekend of college football. I am absolutely pumped to get to it. I will say I'm trying very much not to be too distracted by Monday Night Football. Um, the Texans are playing the Bucks. That's actually why I have this background. This is from when me and Kinley went to an Ohio State game. We saw C.J. Stroud light up Michigan State, and he is playing the Bucks tonight as a Falcons employee, as part of the team, obviously very integral member, rooting very hard for the Texans. This is not going to age well.
So if
Anyway,
we
let's get
see
in.
you or hear you like freak out in some way, maybe Baker Mayfield got sacked or something. Okay, cool. Cool.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Just to get that out in the air. But anyway, let's jump into week three. It was a glorious weekend. There were bangers up and down the slate from Friday, even Thursday night. Thursday night was a crazy game, though. NC State Wake Forest. We had a food truck on fire that smoked out the entire game for like two quarters. And then Friday night, we had a bunch of good games. Saturday, every single window had a great game in it. It was just glorious.
And then even into Sunday, I know we're not talking NFL, but there were some great NFL games on Sunday as well. And
There
hopefully
were
two more
indeed.
tonight. Yeah, so anybody who says this was a boring weekend of football in general, I'm with you. Our brains don't work the same. So,
Right,
doesn't
it's
make any
just
sense.
incompatible, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, and there were some good texts in the sports
Oh
analyst chat
yes.
that
Oh
we
yeah,
need to
let's
get
jump into
into.
these.
All right? And I think yeah, it gives a comprehensive view of what
Yeah,
happened
we'll
this
just
weekend.
relive the weekend through the
Yeah.
sports analyst chat.
Exactly. I love it. All right, first one's from Steve. This is during the Kansas State game. So is Avery Johnson supposed to be a good quarterback? I now have 3 to 4 games, and he's been nothing close. Do I need more games? No, Steve. You don't
No, you
need
don't.
more. He is what he is, and what he is.
Certified bad.
Yep. Good question though, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, great question.
Oh man, this was during the Oregon game when they went to Northwestern, and it was closer than we thought. Jacob said, "What are the odds that Dan Lanning is taking it easy on Northwestern to make our conference look bad and make his conference look tougher? Our conference meaning the Big 12." And that's a good question. I wouldn't put it
It
past Dan Lanning.
right. Dan Lanning is like you can't put any level of pettiness beyond him. Like he will take whatever you say at any moment and use that to blow you out by 70 with his team. So I would not put it past it that he kept it close with Northwestern just to stick it to Mike Gundy again.
Dude is playing chess as far as pettiness goes.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I sent this one in through Doug's phone because my phone was dead because I was watching too much college football. But Doug and I were chatting about the UCLA game last night, Friday night, and realized that UCLA has basically lost to New Mexico twice this year. Think about it.
If they have.
Think about it. Kev, so outside of one busted play, one of the experts in quotes, preseason Heisman candidates has 112 passing yards. Eli responds to this and says, "Are you talking about Klubnik or that you're referring to, or Arch? It really could be either at this point." LOL. Very true. Very true.
That is very indicative of how this weekend went.
Yes.
Arch and Klubnik, which
Certified bad.
to be fair, we kind of pointed this out that neither of them had proven anything to this point. So the fact that people are even talking about them being good in the first place is crazy because they hadn't shown anything. But now they have shown it, and they're both.
Bad. Poor guys. They didn't do this to themselves,
It's not their
right?
fault. It's not their
Nope.
fault.
Nope. Okay, Jared, during the West Virginia game, when Rich Rod kept subbing quarterbacks, he played three quarterbacks. It's
Yeah,
weird when they were winning the game. Anyways, Jared, Rich Rod might find himself on the list if he's not careful.
it was very close. We didn't
Very
we didn't
close.
have we didn't have any additions, but West Virginia was that close. That
Towing the
close.
line. Towing the
Yes.
line, Rich Rod. Gosh.
Yep. So I
All
got my
right.
eye on you, Rich Rod.
Yep. We had a great first half hate watch with Utah. First half. And Jacob goes, "Ain't no way Wyoming was in the red zone, took one sack, and then punted the next play. I'm about to crash out." And then Jared very professionally responded, "I can't bring myself to watch that game. I'm trying to stay cool today." I'm gonna tell you, I should have listened to that. I was on and off that game. On and off.
It was it sounded good but also rough. Like it was funny, but ultimately Utah was going to win the game. Am I wrong in assuming that's kind of how it went?
No, Wyoming looked like Arizona. Sorry, not Arizona. Wyoming looked like Stanford did against us, where they were not going to win that game. Halftime score
Yeah,
was different, but they couldn't get anything going offensively.
gotcha.
So,
To be fair, let me just point this out. That is a product of Wyoming being bad, okay? This is a Wyoming team that beat Akron, one of the worst schools in the entire FBS, 10-0. So don't get thinking, oh my gosh, Utah's got a powerhouse defense. No, this is just a really bad Wyoming offense.
yeah, neither Utah or BYU have beat a good team this year. Have
Yeah,
played a good
uh-huh,
team. So we really don't know that
100%.
much.
Nope.
Um, and this is the last one about the Utah game. AJ, Lucy and I are snuggled in her bed at 3:30 at 9:34, hate watching. Haha, so glorious. Start 'em young. Start 'em
That's how you
young,
raise a kid
kids.
right. That
Yep.
is awesome.
And then we'll round it out with the Notre Dame Texas A&M game, which was a banger. And Jared,
Indeed.
and that, folks, is why you don't hire a lacrosse player to be your holder. Truer words have never been said.
I have been saying this for years that you should have your starting quarterback be your holder because it doesn't make any sense. Like I get it that you don't want to like have the starting quarterback take time to go over to special teams unit and practice that. But what happens when you drop a snap or there's a bad snap? You end up with a lacrosse player with the football in his hands, no idea what to do. That's if you want to fake it, you need to have somebody there that can run a fake. So the fact that they have a lacrosse player and Tyler Buckner being their holder, I mean, shocker, he dropped it. It's not even his first sport. And then second of all, he doesn't really know what to do with it. Yeah, absolutely just heartbreaking way to lose, but it was very funny.
It was very funny. If it was a different team, I might feel differently. I can think of two times. I mean, Ryan Rico lost the Bengals a game last year.
Mm,
He's the punter because he fumbled a hold, right? So,
can't do
agreed.
it.
That's why you don't hire a lacrosse player to be your holder. All right, let's move on. Those were some good texts from the chat this week.
It was glorious. And that kind of like that warms us up. That's your little activation period in your workout, getting your glute circuit in. Now let's get into your strength circuit one. We're gonna play a little game, Jess, all right? It's called Bigger Win or Bigger Loss. And I'm going to give you a game that was played and a team won and a team lost. And I want you to decide, and we can debate if you think it was a bigger win for the team that won or if it was a bigger loss for the team that lost.
Understood.
Simple enough.
Understood. Yep.
Let's get into it. All right, first game, we're going to go in kind of chronological order. Colorado at Houston. Houston won this game low key very decisively. Um, I'm looking up the score right now because I can't remember exactly what the score was, but it wasn't that close.
Nah, it
It
was two
was
scores
30,
plus.
36-20, and Colorado had a garbage time touchdown.
Oh,
So, Jessa, was this a bigger win for Houston or a bigger loss for Colorado?
this one narrowly, I'm saying Houston had got the bigger win.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and the reason why Houston has not won more than four games in the Big 12 in either of its seasons. In fact, it hasn't
Oof.
won more than four games, period. I don't know what there's that. In fact, I'm pretty sure they've won one or two conference games in both of their first seasons in the Big 12. They just landed a five-star QB. top 5 recruit in the country. So they have momentum. So going 1-0 in Big 12 play against Colorado, I know that they're not very good this year, but last year they won 9 games, right? The Sanders Colt. So for that reason,
Sanders Colt.
I would say Houston got the bigger win. Where are you leaning on this one?
I think I'd have to agree with you. I'm looking up Houston's schedule. They went 4-8 in their first year in the Big 12, 4-8 in their second year in the Big 12. They won two Big 12 games, won three Big 12 games last year. I would agree 100% with you. This is a sign of Willie Fritz moving the program in a good direction. I We already kind of know what Colorado is. They lost to Georgia Tech, fumbled that one away horribly. I would agree. This is a bigger win for Houston. We might have to watch out for Houston.
And we love to see it. I root for Houston.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, I root for all of the late additions to the Big 12, at least from the American
right?
Conference, right? So,
Yes,
yeah. It
yes.
was a disappointing game as far as the outcome goes. I wanted it to be closer, but good on ya, Houston, for taking
Yep,
care of business.
yep. And if I'm being honest, I love a good Colorado beatdown. That just makes me happy inside.
Yep.
Our next game is also another Friday night game. Kansas State at Arizona. Arizona won this game 23-17. This was 17-3 at halftime. Kansas State came out, kind of made it a game, and then ultimately Arizona ended up winning. So, Jess, was it a bigger win for Arizona or a bigger loss for Kansas State?
I go back and forth on this. I think it was a big win for Arizona. I think it was a big loss for Kansas State, but I have to say that it was a bigger loss for Kansas State because beating Kansas State right now
Okay.
is nothing special. Like, woohoo, everybody else does it. You can do it too, right? We've said that before. Um, and with every loss that K-State collects this year, and with everything that goes wrong with their program, the worse it is. They haven't had less than 9 losses since 2022. I think in 2021 they went 8-4, and that's their worst record in the 2020s. So this is a program, I mean, preseason, we talk about QBs who've been overrated. Avery Johnson is
Yep.
just another one, right? He's unproven, and yet the media loves him. Like he's proving to not be the guy. You talk about Houston trending upwards, Kansas State is trending downwards. So this is just they needed this win, and this was a winnable game for them. And the fact that they let it slip away tells me that their season, like it's going to be a tough one to salvage. But it was tough. It
Yep.
was a coin flip. How do you feel about it?
Well, I initially I thought this was a bigger win for Arizona, kind of on the same reasoning with Houston that they're moving in the right direction. But the way you explain it makes perfect sense because Kansas State, like, this is just another sign that Kansas State is bad. So I don't know if we can really draw that much for Arizona. So I think I would agree with you. This is a big loss for Kansas State, showing their program plummeting right now. This is, you know, just absolutely sinking to the bottom of the floor like an unattended 2-year-old.
They're
Um,
0-2 in the Big 12 now. And they have a
yeah,
loss to Army and a barely a loss to an FCS team. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Kansas State, are you okay? Answer is no.
Kansas Kansas State is not okay. All right, next game. Clemson at Georgia Tech. This was probably my favorite game of the entire day. This was amazing. Um, Clemson lost. The 54-yard field goal walk-off for Georgia Tech, wide out, scenes in downtown Atlanta. Um, what do we think? Is this a bigger loss for Clemson or a bigger win for Georgia Tech?
This is another maybe less of a coin flip. Obviously all of these are big losses and big wins either way, right? And so you're
Right,
looking
right,
at
right.
this. Yeah. Um, I think we knew Clemson was fraudulent. And so I think it's a bigger win for Georgia Tech because I'm not surprised that Clemson dropped another game. The question was, can Georgia Tech finish the job? Because in the last 3 years, they've come very, very close, right? They've won some of them, they've lost some of them. But they haven't beat Clemson since 2014.
Yeah,
So this is a huge win for Georgia Tech. The first win in 11 years against a conference, I wouldn't say rival, but the powerhouse of the conference for the last decade, who is on the downward decline. But for that reason, I would say Georgia Tech bigger win, and the way they did it, time running down to get the pit crew, kick crew out there was sweet. So I'd say Georgia Tech bigger win.
I 100% agree, and I'll tell you why. Ready?
You ready?
This is why. Temple at Wake Forest, Virginia Tech at Duke, Syracuse, at NC State, at Boston College, Pitt, Georgia. Georgia Tech's going 11-1 at worst. This
Let's
is a playoff
go.
team. This was the stamp that they put on their resume to say we deserve to be in the playoff. Then now they can just waltz through the rest of the freaking weak at ACC like Duke and Syracuse and NC State and Pitt. Like Georgia Tech is a playoff team, guys. They just punched our ticket. They're in the playoffs. Now obviously they could definitely lose, but like right now they're kind of a lock for the playoffs in my eyes. And Clemson, we already knew, like you said, was struggling. Lost to LSU, almost lost to Troy. Looked horrible all game in this. So I would agree. Huge win for Georgia Tech. This is a monumental win.
Okay, on that, I'm getting angry just thinking about it. I'm going to get close to the mic for this one. Committee, if you don't
Wait, your mic is it's
wait, I'm back. I'm back for dramatic effect. Okay. Listen, committee, if you don't let in a 2-loss Georgia Tech and you're thinking about letting in a 3-loss SEC team, I am driving to wherever you are and I am spray painting butts all over your cars. I Georgia Tech is playoff lock. 2 losses, I don't care. Put them in. Put them in.
Yep, yep. I'm 100% with you, Jessa. I will accompany you on the trip, wherever that may take us. All right, next game. I mean, this one is I don't know. I guess we'll this is kind of a little one, but Wisconsin at Alabama. Alabama just wipes the floor with them. Is this a bigger loss for Luke Fickell in Wisconsin, or is this a bigger win for Bama? I mean, you can kind of see it both ways. Where like with Bama, is this a like, hey, we're back on track with Kalen DeBoer, or Wisconsin is this the exact opposite? In Luke Fickell has never been able to do anything here, and he should leave.
Mm. Yeah, those are the questions right now. Um, Somewhat hot take. I think if Bama loses that game, Kalen DeBoer is out this week. Like genuinely, I think he's out this week. So for that reason, I would say it's a bigger game for Alabama. Because look at the state of Alabama, right? They lost. They've been struggling. They lost to win Florida State, right? They needed not only to win, they needed to win convincingly, and they did. Granted, it was against Wisconsin, and like you said, they are struggling and they're looking for anything positive to grasp onto, especially given their schedule in the Big Ten. So it is a big loss, but it was also an expected loss for Wisconsin. Alabama needed to win and they needed to win big. So that's why I'd side for a bigger win for Alabama.
I 100% agree. Yeah, it shows that as down bad as they might be, or they might think they are, they're not actually down that bad, right? They're not in a game with Wisconsin, who won 5 games last year. So
Yeah.
very true, very true. This one also a little bit not as quite as intense. USF at Miami, USF America's darling, and then Miami. Who are they good? Is Miami back? I don't know. Bigger win for Miami or bigger loss for USF?
Bigger loss for USF. Miami was expecting to win this game. Every human outside of the city of Miami or bandwagon fans from the 90s was rooting for USF in this game. And not only did they lose, they lost big. Like the sentiment going into the game was if USF keeps it close, they could still be the G5, G6 powerhouse of the year, right? They could be this year's
Mhm.
Boise State. They needed to keep it close and respectable, and they didn't do that. I'm with you. Is Miami good? Who knows? They looked good. We'll talk about it later, right?
Yep.
They are one of those teams. Um, I would say USF had everything to gain and not t like had everything to lose. I don't know.
Yeah.
They needed to make it respectable and they didn't. That's a loss.
Yeah. No, I would agree. The way the game played out, it was definitely like that loss was what they just couldn't have, and that's exactly what they got. But then with Miami, like, how much do you bump them up for that? Like, because now Florida looks pitiful, so like, does USF's win over Florida look a little less like? Yeah, I think it said more about USF maybe being tired. I don't know. It's a tough one. I still think USF's a good team, but we'll see how they recover from this, and hopefully they can make a good push in the American Conference, kind of make that interesting with Memphis and Um, oh, I'm blanking. I'm blanking. Tulane, which we'll also get to later. Tulane is looking really good. All right, last one. Bigger win for Texas A&M or bigger loss for Notre Dame?
This is tough. Both programs had stuff to play for, and it was a 1 point game in the fashion it was. I've got to say it's a bigger loss for Notre Dame. What is going on over there? Every year they schedule these juggernauts, which at the beginning of the season, which respect to Notre Dame. Honestly,
Right.
keep doing it. And part of me is like, yeah, they shouldn't be penalized because I want to. No, that's a lie. You should be penalized for losing. Never mind. Um, but they had that game. That game came down to, we've already talked about it, a missed extra point, right? And they were up 2 scores for a lot of that game. Um, their early slate was brutal. It was at home. They, after a loss to Miami, they needed this game. They had this game and they blew it. It's a bigger loss for Notre Dame. It's another early season loss.
Yep. I 100% agree. Where are they going to get, where are they going to gain respect back? By beating Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State. Honestly, USC is their best shot. But other than that, it's Stanford, Syracuse, Pitt, Navy, Boston College. Like they're playing in the ACC basically, and they don't play Clemson or Florida State. So where are they going to get respect? This was one of your only chances. And let's be honest, Texas A&M is not that good. Like Texas A&M was kind of in it with UTEP and Utah State. Like they couldn't put them away. Yeah, huge loss for Notre Dame. They needed this one. They'll probably still get into the playoffs because their name's Notre Dame, but it is completely out of their hands now.
Yeah, USC would be I agree. USC would be that only marquee win if they win. That's the thing.
Right? If
But
you win.
knowing the committee, they're going to be the highest ranked team with the most losses, no matter what, because it's Notre Dame.
Yep. Yeah.
Cheater note.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yep. Um, One last thing about week three before we move on to kind of a fun little game we have that I should tease at the top, but oh well, we'll just not tease it. At some point, I want to bring up the ECU game. That is this time. Did you watch the ECU Coastal Carolina game? Did you get eyes on this one?
I watched it after the fact, so I watched the condensed game.
Gotcha. Um, Here are my thoughts during the game because the game was 10-0 for most of, if not, it was like the entire first quarter into the second half, it was 10-0. People are going to look at the score, and I've already heard this, right? Oh, ECU won 38-0 against Coastal Carolina, which Coastal Carolina, bad. Um, I am not actually that worried about ECU anymore. This could come back to bite me in the butt. I think our defense is going to eat their offense alive. I think it's going to be an absolute just feeding frenzy. Uh, they'll probably score on us. They're probably going to score a touchdown or whatever. I am not as worried about ECU after watching them than I was prior, which is funny because they won 38-0, but I actually feel better now.
Looking at the box score, because I didn't watch the game, scared. It's like, oh freak. Listening to Kalani's media today, scared. He went on and on and on and on and on and on
Yep.
and on and on and on about their quarterback and their strengths, right? Watch the game. Eastern, not Eastern Carolina, Coastal Carolina is a high school team. Um,
Yeah.
and we'll get into more about East Carolina. Gosh, so many Carolinas, but
Too
I
many.
am cautiously optimistic as well.
Okay.
We'll see.
Like you said, we'll get into this more next week because or next episode because that's our actual preview. But little mini preview,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have to be as worried as we thought we were. Again, assuming BYU, prepares like it's a real game and stuff like that.
They are bringing
But
A-Rod on the trip though, so maybe that should add a little bit of the fear
could
back
be a
in there.
problem.
Yeah.
Could be a problem. All right, Jessa, with our last half of the podcast, we are three. We're it's post week three, which means we've technically had 4 weeks of college football. Not actually. I mean, it depends on how much you want to count week zero. Kansas State probably hopes that doesn't count, or maybe they do because that was their closest game. Um, let's go over 5 things that we've learned and 5 questions that we still have after most of like this non-con first month of the season kind of is underway. And let's start with what have we actually learned after 1 month of football?
Yeah. What can we say with confidence? What
Right.
assumption have we started to validate? Right?
Arch Manning is good at football.
Woohoo. Debunked, right?
Yeah,
Busted.
false.
That myth is busted. All right.
Yes.
Arch Manning. Okay, here's my first one. I just feel like after 3 weeks, we're learning what some of these teams are. And I look back to week one, like you said, week zero, when they're playing on their FCS games. Let's not kid ourselves. Here's what I learned. The regular season is 11 games, not 12. Let's
Yep.
stop it. Stop it with these FCS teams where Florida plays Long Island State and beats them by 55 to 0, and then they put up 16 points against USF, and then they put up 10 points against LSU last week. So why? And yet DJ Lagway is actually way worse, and I'll talk about his stats in a second because it's another thing I learned. Um, is way worse than what his stats say, and his stats are bad because of the stat line he put up against an FCS team. And so it's all FCS games do is skew the metrics. That's
Yep.
all, right? They boost rankings that shouldn't be boosted, and that's it. So Ty has had this take, and I 100% agree with him. FCS games, I'm not saying go away with them because I still think they're good, but can we not kid ourselves and pretend that that's a regular season game? It's not.
100%.
It's a preseason game. Nix the stats from it, and let's move on because they do not help in finding out that Florida is a fraud, for example. And it's happened elsewhere too, right? So that's the
Yeah.
first thing I learned is that you
No,
can't learn anything in the first 2 weeks.
I am 100% with you. And like, how do you think it feels for to set like a career high in passing yards? And then you're looking back at the record book and it's like, oh yeah, like what was your best passing game? And it was like, oh yeah, when I played Southwestern Missouri State and threw for like 400 yards against a bunch of third graders. Like, no, like these games, yeah, play them in spring instead of doing a spring scrimmage. Play an FCS school in the spring, and give them their money. Build them a new locker room for coming to play you. But like, let's not count it towards the regular season. Let's play 12 actual football teams.
Yep. Yep. Okay, what'd
Great
you
one,
learn?
Jess. Number two, there's a reason the scientific process exists. Okay, and this is, I mean, it kind of goes in line with yours, okay? What is the scientific process, okay? It's this whole thing about having a hypothesis, testing it, and then doing it over and over and over and over and over again, okay? We cannot use like very small sample sizes to do any deductive reasoning for a season, for a team, for a player. We cannot do that. That's not how life works. That's not how science works, okay? It's just not, okay? You can't take a sample size of like four things and then apply it to, or like you can't take Florida's game against LIU and apply it to their whole season. You can't take Ohio State's win over Texas and apply it to the whole season. That's not how it works. We cannot make any judgments with any degree of accuracy or seriousness from the first month of the college football season. You just can't do it. The sample size is not big enough.
There's a reason we play the games, and it's the reason why it's the best sport in the world, is because every week is an experiment,
Hmm.
right? Yes. 100% agree. It leads into my next one.
But these are all like very intertwined.
It's
We're
the theme
finding out.
because as we learn things about players, we realize how wrong the media was. Because the media, to your point, this is the other thing I'll say about your learning. The media is the definition of insanity because they keep doing the same shiz every preseason and they are proved wrong every single
Yep.
season. So what are we doing, guys? Let's switch it up, right? Okay, well, to that point, media talks way too much about unproven players, right?
Oh, oh, oh.
Going into this season, and this is the example, I am learning as a part of this that the QB play this season is not going to be anywhere near what the media told us it was going to be. We
Oh,
were
yeah.
hearing this might be the best QB class since da 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 da, right? We
Since
might
Zach
have,
Wilson.
yeah, we might have five top 10 draft picks because of the media, right? Let me just read you some stats, all right?
Oh
Arch
boy.
Manning, preseason favorite. This is through 3 games. 579 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 88th in QBR. DJ Lagway. Those two were like back and forth. All the media I would watch, it was like number one QB. I'm gonna power rank my top QBs. It was DJ Lagway or
Hmm.
Arch Manning every time. Um, 629 yards, 5 touchdowns. You guessed it, 6 interceptions thanks to his game last week. How come he didn't throw 5 interceptions against his FCS game? That came out of nowhere. What? Whoa, that's crazy.
Whoa.
He's 76th in QBR. Cade
Oh,
Klubnik,
jeez.
Cade Klubnik and Nico Amaliava, both around 600
Oh, no.
yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interception. Cade is 100th in QBR. Nico is 81st in QBR. Um, so it leads right into what you were saying. Let's experiment. Let's let these guys play. Okay? You don't have to fill your segments with this garbage. Okay? That's
Yep.
just going to be proved wrong. Let's switch something up. Talk about
Uh,
proven players. That's what I've learned.
right, right. This leads me beautifully into my next point. Jessa, we didn't even talk about this, and it's just flowing all together so well.
Yep.
Number four thing we learned: never believe a single thing people say. Don't. Just don't. They tell you Arch Manning is good at football. Don't believe them. Okay. They tell you Florida's a good football team. Don't believe them. They tell you Alabama is back. Don't believe them. They tell you Florida State is stinks. Don't believe them. They tell you Bear Bachmeyer is going to throw for 100 yards. Don't believe them. Okay. Just don't believe what people tell you. Actually go out and watch football games with your eyeballs, okay? That is how you learn, not by listening to people talk.
Oh man. And I hope everybody takes that advice.
Yeah.
Everybody. Oh my gosh, it's so real. Experiment. Okay. And leading into number five, college football is wide open this year. Hey, we
Yep.
said that at the beginning. We said we wonder if college football is going to be wide open. The only team that has not showed a fatal weakness is Miami, to me.
Hmm.
The only team. Um, and even then, have they really been tested? Because is Florida really
I
that good? Is you? Oh wait, well, hold on. They're playing Florida this week. So my point is, will they be tested? Right?
yeah.
I don't know.
I, I,
I don't know. But there's not a dominant team, right?
there's not.
Ohio State has showed weakness. Penn State has showed plenty of weakness,
What is
right?
going on? Yeah.
Or okay, Oregon I might throw in there, but I don't know that they've played
Who
anybody
have they
as well.
played? Yeah.
Right? But there's no like we're now 3 weeks. We're going into week four. There's no Nick Saban Alabama, is what I'll
No.
say. There's no
Right.
team that
There's
looks like they are, like you say, world beaters, right?
yep.
So it continues to be wide open.
There's no 22 Georgia. There's no 2019 LSU. 2020 Alabama. There's none of these like world beating teams that you just know are going to win all their games. Very, very wide open. Um, let's get into the questions that we still have because we have learned a little bit, but what we really found out is we've learned very little. We've
Yes.
just learned that we have become cognizant of the fact that we are uh, we are insufficiently knowledged about what is going to happen this year in college football. So taking that to the next step, this is again leading perfectly in. My first question that I have is who is actually good? Like you said, Jess, we don't know. Miami is the only team that hasn't really showed a weakness, but who have they played? They played Notre Dame. Great. Is Notre Dame even good? They have not won a football game yet. They can't even kick a PAT for heaven's sakes. I don't know how good Notre Dame really is. They played South Florida. South Florida beat Florida. That's whoop-de-doo. Florida sucks butt. So is South Florida even any good? I don't know. I want to figure out who is really good. Is Ohio State any good? They don't look like it. Penn State, Oregon, LSU, Georgia. Like you can go through the whole top 10. Like you said, Miami's the only team that hasn't really showed a flaw, but they haven't played anybody. So let's keep going and let's see what happens. And I don't really know when this question's getting answered, but eventually, we will. Maybe we won't. I don't
No,
know. But
I'll
that's
tell
a
you when
question
it
I still
will.
have.
It's when teams repeatedly the outcome of their experiment is positive week after week after week after week. That's when we'll learn and the
True.
separation will start happening, right? If that'll happen. But we'll know who is really, really bad and really, really good sooner than we will like where the middle is, I feel like.
True.
I don't know. So
True. True.
we'll find out. That's why we love the sport. It would be boring if we
Oh
knew right
yeah.
now, right?
Exactly. Exactly. This makes it
Yeah,
fun.
speaking of like the going back to the QBs we've talked about, what is the Heisman race gonna look like? Because it sure as heck is not gonna look like what it did earlier. I have seen crazy lists of Heisman contenders. I love what I'm seeing from Sawyer Robinson, the Baylor quarterback. Um, I Yeah, I that's the one that comes to mind. Josh Hoover is another one from the Big 12 that I really love. And then you've got all of these SEC teams that are kind of thrown in there, but are they just in there because of their brand, right? So we have no idea what the Heisman race is going to look like, and if the QBs are not performing, I hope we see more skill players get in here, maybe a defensive player. I don't know, but that's a question I'm looking at. What does the Heisman race look like
Uh,
week after week?
I'm very interested, and I thought it was funny when you said it's not what we thought at the beginning. I looked up the Heisman preseason odds, and get ready for this, okay?
Ready?
Number one, Arch Manning,
Out,
done. Cade Klubnik,
out.
done. Garrett Nussmeier, I wouldn't say he's out,
No,
but he is not. Yeah, okay, thank you, Jesse. Thank you. He does
no.
not look good. Does not pass the eye test at all.
LSU's offense is not the reason they are winning games.
Right? Like, imagine if Florida hadn't thrown 5 interceptions. I don't think Nussmeier got the ball 5 more times than the other team, at least, and
And they
still
only,
couldn't. Yeah, they won by 10.
yeah.
Um, Jeremiah Smith, possible.
Hmm.
Possible. I don't know if his quarterback is good enough. And then Lenora Sellers, injured, and they lost to Vandy by 20 something points.
Yep.
Uh, and then Drew Aller.
No way. Nah,
Yeah,
Penn State's ending the season with 3 losses. Just kidding, because we don't say things we don't know, but they do not look unbeatable. So
no, they do not.
that's very
All right.
interesting.
We're going to hit an ad break, and then we'll come back and we'll finish this little exercise.
Perfect. We got 2 more to go. No, 3 more to go. Let's
We
go.
got 3 more. We got 3. All right. Welcome back. Well, third on the questions that I still have, the questions that we still have about the whole sport of college football. What is the hierarchy like in the Big 12? I don't know if we've really learned all that much about who is really going to be the best team in the Big 12. I'm really interested to see who it is. Baylor did not look good against Auburn in their season opener, but have since rebounded. Texas Tech, they haven't played anybody, so I don't really know what to think about them. There's Utah, there's BYU, there's Arizona State is still in there. I'm really interested to see how this plays out. And I'm thinking this next week we're going to get a lot of answers. We got Texas Tech, Utah. We got Arizona State, Baylor. We got BYU, East Carolina. Just to throw it in there with those other
Hey,
big
we will
matchups.
learn something,
We,
okay? We will learn something from that
we
game.
will. It's another data point. It's another data point. But I'm really excited to see how this plays out. TCU looked awesome in week one. Haven't heard a thing from them since. Yeah, I'm very excited. Iowa State looks really good, but then also barely won against Arkansas State this weekend. Are they tired? I don't know. I'm very interested to see how that plays out, and we're going to start getting answers to that very soon.
Yeah, I think we know who's not good. Oklahoma State, Kansas State.
Yep.
There you go. Right? But I'm with you. Those top 2, top 3 tiers, how is that going to shake out? I really hope we have a lot of talent in the Big 12 this year. It's going to be
Yes.
a fun league. So, but we will see as conference play progresses.
Yep. Very excited to get into it. I just
Mhm.
hope we don't end up in a four-way tie for first place and end up losing out in the tiebreaker again. That would suck.
Yeah. We need to take care of business for sure.
Yep.
For
Yep.
sure, for sure.
Just win all
Especially
your
as we
games.
don't,
It's not that
yeah,
hard.
for reals. Gosh. Watch out for the pooch pun. Okay? Okay.
Yes.
Glad we got that. Kind of similar to just talking about another conference, our favorite conference, the SEC. Big two thumbs down. Who will the bottom feeders in the SEC be? Because you know there will be.
Oh yeah.
But SEC, their schedules aren't the toughest, right? They've looked pretty good in their non-conference, but like we said, can't really tell anything. Same as any conference, right? We don't know. But SEC that hasn't had teams that have taken like super bad losses yet. So I'm interested to see what the bottom of the SEC is going to be look like because I'm hate watching that conference all the day long.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. And I can't wait for it to be like South Carolina, who was a preseason top 10 team, and that'll be really funny to see them be like 1-6 in conference play or whatever the frick because they play a stupid amount of games. But
yeah,
very that will be fun to hate watch and kind of figure that out alongside. Um, Finally, last question I have. When will BYU lose their first game? Now, we have East Carolina on Saturday. Like we talked about, I'm not 100% sure it's going to be this game. Then we play Colorado. I don't know if it's going to be that game either. Okay? Then we take on West Virginia at home. Is BYU going to be 5-0? I think they might be.
I just got a little sick when you asked me that. Because if we're not, it means this season's gonna be a bummer. We
Right, and
should win every single one of these games.
that's the sad part is that you come in thinking like, hey, we're going to keep our expectations realistic. Like, we have a brand new quarterback. But like looking at the teams around us, bro, like Colorado has no idea what they're doing. Dion is absolutely just lost in the wilderness. Like, no Leahona for him. Uh, West Virginia, I mean, they lost to Ohio. I mean, granted, they won the backyard brawl, but that's a rivalry game. You can't count
At
that.
home.
Right, yeah, you can't count that at all. They probably got like a full touchdown and a half from being at home in that game. And then we go to Arizona, like we were talking about earlier. Is Arizona good? We play Utah. If we lose that game, I quit. And then we go to Iowa State. So I don't know. When do you think it's going to happen?
Um, this is a great question. I don't know. I have no idea. I think our biggest it could be Arizona. It's not going to be Utah because I refuse to acknowledge that.
Yeah, of course.
Um, it could be Iowa State, could be Texas Tech, could be I don't know. So I'm not going to say that I know because
Yeah,
there are so many unanswered questions about this offense still that
yeah,
I mean, A-Rod could we could only score 16 points the rest of the season and go 500, or he could figure it out and actually start calling plays and letting our quarterback, the position that's supposed to throw the ball, actually throw the ball. Um, and we could go 11 and 2 again. Like I just don't know. I don't know.
yeah. Where do you hope it is then? I mean, obviously we all hope that it's, never, but
Iowa
realistically
State.
speaking, yeah, is that the one?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not necessarily scared of them, but I would be fine emotionally dropping Iowa State or Texas Tech. Obviously
Yeah.
on game day, I'm gonna be like, we gotta win both these
Oh yeah.
games, right?
Oh yeah.
But taking a high level view, Iowa State or Texas State, they're both ranked teams right now on the road. That's fine. I'm not okay with losing to TCU. I'm not okay with losing at Cincinnati, and I'm not okay with losing at home to UCF. We shouldn't lose a home game this year.
No. No, we shouldn't.
Where
I
do you
would
think it's gonna happen?
Well, I would agree with you. I've already sharpied in the Iowa State game as a loss
Yeah.
because it's the week after playing Utah. No matter what happens in that game, like we lost two straight games after beating Utah last year. Like it's just a thing. It's an emotional thing, and BYU has never proven that they have the capability of overcoming that, whether it was Bronco or Kalani or whoever. Um, where I hope that it is actually at Arizona
Okay.
because I think if we lose to Arizona, I think we come into the Utah game with our hair on fire. I think you're going to have the opposite effect of what like that emotional high when you win and it's hard to come down from. We're going to have the opposite of like it was such a low that we are going to come in so laser focused and so like focus like it's going to align the team. Oh, apparently I raised my hand. Uh I'm going to lower my hand here. Okay.
Thanks, Zoom.
um, I think that might help us go into the Utah game with a little bit more focus than if we come in 6-0 or 5-0 into the Utah game and we're riding high, we're going to beat our rival again, and then all of a sudden we get punched in the mouth and we lose. So that's where I hope it is. I hope we don't lose any of them, but if we did have to lose one, I hope it's that one because it would help us beat Utah, and that's literally all I want this year.
I was just gonna say, can we be real? Uh, the only one that it's not okay on is Utah.
Yeah.
That's the only one. We can lose all the rest. That's fine. Sacrifice them to the gods. Here you
Yes.
go.
Take them, please.
Take them. Just give us October 18th, please. Thanks. Fair trade?
Yep.
Fair trade.
I'll make that deal. You make that deal?
I'll make that deal. For my own mental health, I'll make that deal.
Oh yeah. Well, Jess, this is it. This is all we had on the little rundown for today. I don't know if you have any other parting thoughts.
Our parting thoughts is we still don't know anything except Arch Manning and DJ Lagway suck. And conference play goes full swing this weekend.
Oh
So
yeah.
more full swing. It's like 40, 75%. So we will
Yes.
learn more.
We will learn a lot this weekend, and I'm very excited for it. And we'll be back to preview all of that action on Thursday morning. For Jessa and Jared and Moose, who's here in the background that you can't see, we are signing off, and we will see you guys on Thursday.
See ya.